Hi, my name is Jennifer Bers, VP of Sales for Northern Europe at Onfido. We are a global leader in identity verification, working with banks and mobility companies, telcos, retailers, and others to enable remote digital registration, onboarding, account recovery, and reauthentication by verifying the authenticity of a government-issued ID coupled with a biometric check from either a smartphone or a laptop. By tying the actual human identity to their digital identity, we help ensure the highest degree of integrity and a great experience throughout the entire customer journey, wherever it's needed. And we call this at Onfido real identity. Lucas, can you introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you, Jen. Hi, my name is Łukasz Wojdyła, and I'm a FinTech Partnerships Director here at Alior Bank. Alior Bank is a bank that was once dubbed the digital rebel in terms of banking here in Poland. We have a very strong roots as we were in 2008 a startup ourselves. We've grown a long way, and now we're the top major banks here in Poland. We still take pride in the fact that we talk to many partners, especially in terms of the FinTech partners, and we want to implement new services, new technologies in order to enrich the user experience when you bank with us. And in this case, especially with Onfido, when we want to be able to give our customers or would-be customers a way to open an account with us in a safe, secure way, completely remotely from home, from anywhere you want.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. It's great to have you here. So if you can talk me through, prior to digital onboarding, how did Alior used to verify identities?
Prior to digital onboarding, we've done it in many different ways, and the most basic one I would say would be the going to the brick and mortar branch and present your ID, your national ID card, and open accounts there. The other one is, well, you don't have to actually go to the brick and mortar branch, but if you use a physical store of our partners, you can get a banking product by showing your ID at the store. However, one of the most dominant methods in recent years has become a courier process, where you actually fill in the application form online, and then you wait for a courier who hands over all the agreement forms, which you have to sign there and then, and present your national identity card as well. So in each of those processes, there is some sort of physical form of identification. So obviously that's not enough for us, especially in 20th century, we have to go full digital, full remote. We actually started also, we were one of the precursors of introducing the method which is called penny transfers, where you can open an account by filling in an application form online and completing that with a transfer from a bank account which has proven your identification in one of the previous ways that I've described. That has been seen as a risky method by our regulator, so it has some limitations on its own, and you can only do it once. You cannot do certain other things if you open your account this way. Like for instance, you cannot sign documents remotely using our state service that is rendered through all the banks, because in order to sign a document, you actually have to be verified physically. So different methods, different challenges.
So you were really quite prescient in starting the process as early as you did to start bringing digital onboarding in. And it sounds like Alior really tries to stay very much ahead of the curve on all the different parts of the customer journey. So what was the spark that made you say, we need to add on a digital remote onboarding methodology? What was it that kind of sparked the conversation?
Okay. Well, to be frank, I think the spark was you guys, and the fact that the neobanks and challenger banks started using those methods in the market. And to be frank, one of the banks, well, challenger banks that we were actually checking and verifying, I think used your methods and your solutions. But it was just a spark to, do the market research and find the best solution for us. And that was a few years ago. I think that was in 2018. Yeah, mid to late 2018, I believe, when we started the conversations, we started doing the proper research, and we thought, yes, this is the way. More and more customers dealing with us through digital channels, basically, especially through mobile. In Poland, mobile channel is quite common right now. Well, the internet banking is obviously it has a very, very strong foothold in this market, and mobile is still on a rise, and it was actually quite rapidly rising when we thought about new methods of identification and verification of new customers. And I think basically that was the holy grail for a time back then, that what is the best method to actually be able to open an account remotely for a customer, an account without any account that is fully usable, account that doesn't need two-stage verification where you have certain usability, but you still have to go to the brick and mortar branch and get verified, because those were the options back then as well. So it was, it was a goal for everyone, I think, at the time, and we hope to do it sooner rather than later, because everybody's running through that, to the same goal. Yep. And yeah, that's.
You really got ahead of the market by starting the planning in 2018. Before switching to a remote verification system, were there any concerns internally?
Yes, very much so. I mean, well, the biggest hurdles were, I believe, legal and regulatory issues. The concept wasn't as well addressed by our Polish regulators, so we had to sort of pave some roads to be able to actually use this method. But obviously there were certain risks that our IT security and all the other people that deal with the operational and internal risks, the people that get involved with this stuff, they pointed out certain risks, and we had to we had to address that. I think because my team is mostly is dealing with FinTech partners, we were quite ahead in terms of sort of being able to mitigate some of the challenges and speak in terms of, translate the new technology and the new technical background into our own banking reality, which was quite behind and probably still is, to be fair. Well, as a bank, security of our customers is always at the front of our thinking. So yeah, we always have to see if the technology is actually safe, reliable, if it's been used before, and so on and so on. So yeah, we had to do quite extensive research, but that's what my team does. So it was really, really great. And then once we got through that, well, then the actual work and the actual IT challenges started, and that's the, well, as every other IT project, you know, that's the work we have to do in order to implement something new.
And especially with a bank that has legacy systems to accommodate, legacy process. Yeah, we know that it's not quite as straightforward as it always appears initially. So you've had to navigate both internal challenges as well as external challenges with the regulator and the market and such. It was almost fortuitous that you got it done when you did, just before obviously all of the lockdown. What's been the response to the rollout?
Response was good. Well, right now we've only been 2 full months, sort of after the initial stages where there was a friends and family stage and a bit of a you know, still testing phase. So it's been 2 full months. So far so good, I would say. It's really great. I think we see right now 4% rise month on month from the initial one. So in 6 months, it could be the leading authentication, well, verification method, identification and verification method. However, we are still, to be fair, we are still in a process of increasing the throughput of this method. Right now, for instance, we are still cautious, and this is, well, this is our internal you know, risk team that puts those policies on us. But if there's anything wrong with the video verification, we still have to go jump from the automatic into the manual process. And also we have seen issues where customers are not used to this method, basically, and it also affects this process. So yeah, I would it would be great in the past if we did some more, I guess, marketing, and we prepared some more learning materials on this verification method, because people sometimes are struggling with doing it on their phones and also filling in the details. Especially in Poland, for instance, we have our own characters in the alphabet, which, well, normally if you sign anything by hand, which you would include, if you actually, in digital world, people sometimes omit those characters. Yeah. They use, you know, the normal ones instead of the Polish ones. So and that throws the process off as well. So yeah, they have to get used to it.
So on that note, if you were just starting the process now that you've lived through from the very beginning stages of research through the rollout and understanding some of the challenges, what do you wish you knew before starting, and what would you have done differently?
I wish we knew that the global pandemic is coming. That's for sure.
A lot of people.
We would have done it much faster, and we would like to have it much sooner, because, as you know, we ended up actually finalizing the implementation process during the pandemic already. So it added work, to be fair, and it posed additional challenge. But what I wish I wish we have done that sooner, so we were in a front foot with the pandemic, because I mean, to be fair, the more flexible the business is, the less vulnerable I think it is to global events like that, because you can shift, you know, into different directions and meet the new expectations of, you know, of customers because of what's happening. Now that's also why we still are leaving other methods with us, other identification methods with us. but that particular one it would be great if we had it sooner. In terms of what should have been done before, I guess legal preparation beforehand would have helped, because that was a big part of this project, yeah. all the legal stuff and the regulatory stuff. In terms of the IT challenges, definitely there was a lot of integration with multiple systems, and that was a challenge. I wouldn't say it was an issue, because it's just the IT project, so you have to do it. So nothing would have helped, I guess. It would help if we actually had known a bit more about testing, I guess, because this is many customers, people from different backgrounds, using this method and application for intended purpose, but everyone's different. They have all sorts of problems, different problems, and it requires a lot of testing to actually, meet with those problems during the testing phase. That's
really helpful feedback to know that you need to sort of start planning the rollout a little bit earlier. And as you said, the marketing and the preparation and the explanation to the different groups.
Yes, definitely that. And yeah, I said that before. I mean, the rollout should be supported with learning materials for the customers.
Okay.
I mean, from our experience, I think when digital challenge, when the challenger and neobanks have introduced those methods, I think it was a bit easier maybe on them. I mean, the method was newer, so there's that, but that was meant for the people who are sort of forerunners, and they switch to they embrace new technology, they embrace new services, they switch very easily to new banks and new services. Mm-hmm. When you go to the mass market, where you have very different backgrounds of customers, that's a different story, I think. So you have to be ready for those people, for your customers with different backgrounds, and explain in different ways, maybe also to those customers what is it that this service does, and how they should use it. How does it help them? How does it help them? Well, in this case, to open an account with Alior Bank. Yep. That should have been done in advance.
No, that's really good feedback, and probably very helpful to the people watching about how to plan and what to think through. Lucas, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to continuing to work with you and continuing to evolve, and as you said, make this the #1 way that people onboard at Alior. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Great speaking to you.
You too.